Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, you're watching BookedonCharity, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you the fantasy and sci-fi books that I plan to start in 2026. And I say start because these are the series that I have not touched at all. Yes, I have multiple series that I'm in the middle of right now, but this is not the conversation today, okay? Those series I will talk about in another video, but the point of me making this specific video is I realized that I actually have quite a number of fantasy and sci-fi series that are complete, and I have the physical copies on my shelves, or the series itself is complete and I have maybe book 1 and book 2, and I need to push myself to start reading it so that I can collect and essentially finish reading that series. So this is what the point of this video is, and most of these books are books that I already own, but there is one honorary mention of a book series that I want to start. Actually two. The other one I have on my Kindle that I want to start, but I don't have physical copies of, and I do plan to get the physical copies. But yeah, that is the plan for this video. If you guys think this is something that you might enjoy, please consider subscribing down below. Like this video at the end if you enjoy it, and let's get into it. Okay, our first mention should be the honorary mention, and this is The Will of the Many by James Islington. Guys, I'm not gonna sit here and come and pretend like I know the names of the series of these books, okay? If I tell you the name of book 1, let's consider that the name of the series. I'm not gonna try and rack my brain or even remember all of these things, but The Will of the Many, I will put a picture up here, by James Islington. I know for a fact that book 2 is out right now. I do want book 1 in a hardback, but it costs an arm and a leg and a piece of a liver. So I'll get it when I get it, but I definitely know that it's a series that I want to read, and it's a series that I want to read in 2026 because I don't have those books yet. So yes, this is not also the order in which I want to pick them up. I'm just making the list. I know he has a trilogy that is out already, but I am not yet inclined to read that. I think once I've read The Will of the Many, then I will feel the need to pick up the rest of his work. Okay, fine. I will give you the name of the series, okay? So the series name for the first book, which is The Will of the Many by James Islington, is called Hierarchy, and currently we've got book 1 and book 2. And then I've got a book that when did I get this? I feel like I want to say I got this last year, and I was really interested in this book because of a booktuber that I love to watch was reading it, and their recommendations are always so good. So I needed to get this. So this is also a first book in a series. I don't know if book 2 is out yet. I don't think it is. So this is a first book in a series, and the book is called The First Binding, and this is by R.R. Verdi. I think I'm saying that right, and the name of the series is called Tales of Tremaine. I do love that a lot of the books now will have the series name in there, which is great. It is absolutely great for me because I wouldn't have been able to remember everything. This is the map that we've got. There we go. This is a very thick book. So far it seems like only 2 books are out. So book 2 is called The Doors of Midnight. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this book or the series. It's only Erin from Booked and Busy that I've heard talk about this book, this series. I've heard no one else talk about it, but the way she explained it at the time sounded very interesting to me. I don't remember what it's about anymore, and I'm not gonna okay, fine. Okay, fine, guys. Okay, it says just a little bit at the back. It says, all legends are born of truths and just as much lies. These are mine. Judge me for what you will, but you will hear my story first. I buried the village of Ampere under a mountain of ice and snow. Then I killed their god. I've stolen old magics and been cursed for it. I started a war with those that walked before mankind and lost the princess I loved and wanted to save. I've called lightning and bound fire. I am legend. I am a monster. My name is Ari, and this is the story of how I let loose the first evil. You see, this is a problem. Every time I read the back of a book that I know is good, but I don't remember what it's about, it makes me want to pick it up like immediately. But the Tales of Tremaine, I am really looking forward to starting this series next year. And then a series that, oh guys, I've had on my shelves for a few years now, and I feel shame. And it's a series by Cassandra Clare. This one is the Dark Artifices series, which I bought all three of them right at the time because I wanted to get a preface for the Last Hour series by the same author. And I did start this one because there is a little bit of annotating that I did on this one, but I stopped and I didn't continue, and I want to go back. I really want to go back to the series. So the book 1 is called Lady of Midnight. Book 2 is called Lord of the Shadows, and then book 3 is called Queen of Air and Darkness. This is a trilogy, guys. It's just that the books are quite thick. Hey, they're quite thick, but this is a trilogy. Like, I could potentially read these books like back to back and just enjoy it, guys. Why haven't I started this one? I have no idea. But to read a little bit of the synopsis, it says, in a kingdom by the sea, in a secret world where half-angel warriors are sworn to fight demons, parabatai is a sacred word. A parabatai is your partner in battle. A parabatai is your best friend. Parabatai can be everything to each other, but they can never fall in love. And I feel like the parabatai is in here because from what I remember reading, I feel like these two characters, our main character is female, and she has a parabatai, and I feel like she's always been in love with her parabatai, but it's like you're not supposed to be together. And if I remember correctly, she never liked any of the girls that her male partner was with. So I'm interested to see what this is about and whether this rule can actually be broken or not, or if it's just a situation of if parabatai together and they do fall in love, if something happens and they have to break, they're still bound by this thing of them being parabatai. What do you do if you're with your ex? It becomes complicated. Maybe that's the reason, I don't know, but I sure will find out when I decide to actually open up the series. Talking about reading The Dark Artifices as a prequel, I should then come and show you the Last Hour series by Cassandra Clare. These books are so heavy, guys. Here they are, but this is the book stack. So, and the hardcovers are gorgeous. We've got Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This cover is so pretty. This is book 1 in the Lost Hours series, and then we've got Chain of Iron, also really stunning. And then unfortunately my book 3 is not a hardcover, but then we've got Chain of Thorns as book 3. So the reason why I have The Dark Artifices is because when I was doing some research on this series and what information do I need going into this, because it still takes place in the same Shadowhunter world that Cassandra Clare has built, and I haven't read anything by Cassandra Clare, but also I didn't want to go back to reading like Mortal Instruments and all the other stuff that she's written, because it's like it's a long journey. So I read that, or heard that reading the Dark Artifices first gives you a good background on the shadow hunters, and then you can go straight into the last hours. For this one, it says inheritance of shadows, a love in chains, an unconquerable foe. Cordelia Castes is a shadow hunter, a warrior trained since childhood to battle demons. When her father is accused of a terrible crime, she and her brother travel to London in hopes of preventing the family's ruin. Cordelia's mother wants to marry her off, but Cordelia is determined to be the hero rather than a bride. Soon Cordelia encounters childhood friends James and Lucy Herondale, and is drawn into their world of glittering ballrooms, secret assassinations, and supernatural salons, where vampires and warlocks mingle with mermaids and magicians. All the while, she must hide her secret love for James, who is sworn to marry somebody else. What do you want? Do you see what I'm talking about? But Cordelia's new life is blown apart when a shocking series of demon attacks devastate London. These monsters are nothing like those that shadow hunters have fought before. These demons walk in daylight, strike down the unwary with incurable poison, and seem impossible to kill. London is immediately quarantined. Trapped in the city, Cordelia's friends discover that a dark legacy has gifted them with incredible powers and now forces a brutal choice that will reveal the true cruel price of being a hero. Oh, sounds like it's giving urban fantasy type vibes, which I believe is what Cassandra Clare also does a lot of. So I'm really excited to go. Like, I really want to read this series, but I have to read the other one before I even get to this one. So this is what we got. Okay, next one I have is a book series that I've actually been working on collecting since late last year, I want to say, and I've done pretty well. I think I've done pretty well. I still am missing a few books, but we'll get to them. But this is the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. So these are the books that I have so far. I have The Way of Kings. I've got The Way of Kings book 1. This is book 1, part 1. And then I've got The Way of Kings part 2. And then I've got Words of Radiance. Also, I've got part 1 and part 2. So here is part 1 and there's part 2. And then I have Rhythm of War, which this is part 2. So I don't have Rhythm of War part 1 and I don't have Oathbringer part 1 and part 2. I am really looking forward to starting the series. I am still in the middle of Mistborn, so as soon as I'm done with the Mistborn series, then I will get straight into this one. Luckily, I already have book 1 and book 2 in completion, so I can keep myself going while I still collect these books. But this is a series by Brandon Sanderson, and it is well known, it is well loved, and he has written so many books. And even with Mistborn, I'm only reading the first trilogy, and then I'm gonna get into this one, and then I'll probably read the rest of the trilogy maybe later on. But at the back of this one it says, "Speak again the ancient oaths, life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination, and return to men the shards they once bore. The nights radiant must stand again. Roshar is a world of stone and storms. Its terrifying and frequent tempests have shaped ecology and civilization alike. Animals hide in shells and trees pull in branches. Cities are built only where the land offers shelter. It has been centuries since the fall of the 10 consecrated orders known as the Knights Radiant, but their shard blades and shard plate remain, mystical swords and suits of armor that transform ordinary men into near invisible warriors. Men traded kingdoms for shard blades. Wars were fought for them and won by them. One such war is about to swallow up a soldier, a bright lord, and a young woman scholar." It doesn't say a lot, but all I know is that it is really politically inclined. It is high fantasy. There's lots of battles. There's a lot of things that's happening. I have not heard a single person who has said that they've read the Stormlight Archives and hated it. Okay, if that should say something. But I'm looking forward to reading this one, but I need to finish the other series first before I can get into it. Okay, next up I've got the Expanse series, and this is written by James S.A. Corey, which is actually two authors. This is the pseudonym of two authors. So I have 3 books so far. I just don't know where my third copy is, but I've got Leviathan Wakes, which is book 1, which I cannot wait to start. And then we've got Caliban's War. There we go. And this is, I think it's an 8-book series, but I have only gotten the first 3 books for now because I wanted to figure out if I will enjoy this or not. But it says, welcome to the future. Humanity has colonized the solar system, Mars, the moon, the asteroid belt, and beyond, but the stars are still out of reach. Jim Holden is an exo of an ice miner making runs from the rings of Saturn to the mining stations of the belt. When he and his crew stumble upon a derelict ship, the Scopuli, they find themselves in possession of a secret they never wanted. A secret that someone is willing to kill for, and kill on a scale unfathomable to Jim and his crew. War is brewing in the system unless they can find out who left the ship and why. This is all I need to know. This is all I need to know. I don't know why my book is broken like this. I think I might have, did I get it like this? I know it was cheap when I got it, but I am really looking forward to starting this one. Apparently the TV series is also really, really good, but I told myself that I need to read the series before I can even get into the TV series. All right, and then the next up I've got a trilogy. I love trilogies, guys. I love trilogies because it's just 3 books. So you can do it. You can read the series and finish it. But I also love long series because if it's a series that I really, really enjoy, like Red Rising, I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. It's ending next year. So I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. This is why I need to start new things, experience new things. But this one is called the Locked Tomb Trilogy, and this is by Tasmia Mir. I only have the first book for now, so I've got Gideon the Ninth. I've also had this for about 2 years at this point, and the only reason that I haven't picked this book up yet is because the physical copies are really hard to find. I had to arrange with someone to bring a copy of this for me when they were traveling out of country, and so for me to get the other books, because they're really, really expensive locally, and they were cheaper then. But I want to read this. I want to read this, but I'm afraid that if I read this without having the second book, I'm gonna be on a cliffhanger. I'm gonna be stuck in a cliffhanger. I could probably find the book on my ebook because at the time of getting this, I didn't have a Kindle. I have a Kindle now, so I could continue when I do start this, and I feel like I need to figure it out. But book 1 is called Gideon the Ninth, and then we've got Hera the Ninth, and then we've got Nona the Ninth. Oh, Nona the Ninth I think is a novella. The third book is actually called Alecto the Ninth. But at the back it says, the most fun you'll ever have with a skeleton. The emperor needs necromancers. The ninth necromancer needs a swordswoman. Gideon has a sword, some dirty magazines, and no more time for undead nonsense. Tasmia Mirror's Gideon the Ninth unveils a solar system of swordplay, cutthroat politics, and lesbian necromancers. Her characters leap off page as skillfully animated as necromantic skeletons. The result is a heart-pounding epic science fantasy. Oh my god, doesn't that sound so brilliant? I can't wait. I can't wait, guys. I've got so many good books sitting on my shelves that need to be read, which is why I'm doing this video so that I can motivate myself to pick up these books and potentially make space. But where is the space going to come from? Because if I pick up all these books and I love them, I want to keep them. It's not like I'm making space. This is not read it or unhaul it. But we shall see. The next book I have, what is the name of this one? Let's see if it does. I just don't know how many books are in this series. So far, I want to say there's 3 books, but I only have book 1. Right now, I need to collect the rest. But this is called The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. And it's a dragon story. We love dragons in this household. And I'm so excited. So this is book 1 in the Blood Sworn series. And it says the greatest sagas are written in blood. You can just hear, okay? Set in a brand new Norse-inspired world and packed with myth, magic, and blood vengeance, The Shadow of the Gods begins with an epic new fantasy saga from best-selling author John Gwynne. Can't wait. Can't wait for this one. It doesn't have a synopsis. It just has some blurbs, but I'm looking forward to it. We've got a little map, little mappy map. This is what the map looks like. There we go. There we go. The next book I have is the first book in the series as well. Beautiful cover. And it is book 1 in the Fae-bound series by Sarah El Arifi. This book is so beautiful. It is so stunning. I love this cover so much. It says at the back, divided by blood, imprisoned by fate, bound by desire. Welcome to the intoxicating world of the Fae. I miss Fae. Oh, I miss Fae. And what really, really excited me about this is this colorful map. It has a colorful map. This is going to be my favorite map probably, just because there's color on it. But it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. It says Yeran was born on the battlefield, lived on the battlefield, and one day she knew she'd die on the battlefield. As a warrior in the Elven army, Yeran has known nothing but violence her whole life. Her sister Leto is trying to make a living as a diviner, seeking prophecies of a better future. When a fatal mistake leads Yeran's exile from the Elven lands, both sisters are forced into the terrifying wilderness beyond their borders. They encounter the impossible, the Fae court. The Fae haven't been seen for a millennium, but now Yeran and Leto are thrust into their seductive world, torn between their loyalty to each other, their elven homeland, and their hearts. Fae-bound is the first book in an enchanting new trilogy from the Sunday best-selling author The Final Strife. So yeah, trilogy. We love trilogies. Book 2 is already out. It's called Cure-bound, and then book 3 will be called Beast-bound, but Beast-bound is not out yet. But because I started collecting them in hardback, I really hope that I can find the other 2 books in hardback as well. But this is such a pretty copy, and I'm so happy that I have it. All right, and then I've got a duology by Laini Taylor. So we've got Strange the Dreamer and The Muse of Nightmares. So this is the 2-book series, and this series is called what? All right, so it is called Strange the Dreamer. So this is book 1. At the back it says, the dream chooses the dreamer. Since he was 5 years old, Laszlo Strange has been obsessed with the mythical lost city of the Weep. But it would take someone bolder than he to go in search for it. Then a stunning opportunity presents itself in the person of a hero called the Godslayer and a band of legendary warriors, and he has to seize his chance or lose his dream forever. What happened in the Weep to cut it off from the world? What did the Godslayer slay that went by the name of God? And what is this mysterious problem he now seeks help in resolving? The answers await in Weep, but so do many more mysteries, including the blue-skinned goddess who visits Lazarus' dreams. All right, I haven't read anything from Laini Taylor, so this is going to be my first experience, and I'm really excited. And I like that it's a 2-book series. You can read it quickly, finish it off, and move on to the next thing. The next book I have is from a series called Monsters, and the first book is called Only a Monster Can Kill a Hero by Vanessa Lynn. I've also had this book on my shelves for quite some time. I know book 2 is already out. I want to say it's already out. So I actually just checked, and we've got book 1 all the way to book 3 that's currently available. And I only own book 1, and I really want to finally open this one up And it says, in every story there is a hero and a monster. It should have been the perfect summer, sent to stay with her late mother's eccentric family in London. 16-year-old Joanne is determined to enjoy herself. She loves her nerdy job at the historic Holland House, and when her super cute co-worker Nick asks her on a date, it feels like everything is falling into place. Then a Good Samaritan attempt gone wrong sends Joanne spinning through time, and her life quickly begins to unravel. Her family aren't just eccentric, they are monsters with terrifying hidden powers. And Nick isn't just a cute boy, he's a legendary monster slayer who will do anything to bring them down. This sounds like a good time. Okay, it sounds like a good time. I want to read this. I want to read this really, really soon. All right, and then the next series I have is actually a series that I have in completion. Granted, the covers are not the newer ones, the fancier ones, and the last book I have is a trade paperback, which I don't like. But anyway, I've got The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I did read book 1 a long time ago, and then I didn't have book 2, so I could not continue, and now I've completely forgotten everything that happened, and now I need to go back to read the prequel and then read book 1, and then I can move on to the book that stopped everything, the mime order that I didn't have, but now I do have the rest of them as well somewhere around my bookshelf, but I didn't want to bring everything out. At the back it says, for the past 2 years the Sion government has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in London. Clairvoyance in all its forms has been decreed a criminal offence, and those who practice it viciously punished. Forced underground, a clairvoyant underground has developed, combating persecution and evading capture. Paige Mahoney is a powerful dreamwalker operating in the Seven Dials district of London, leads a double life using her unnaturalness illegally while hiding her gift from her father, who works for the Sion regime. Oh. I want to get back here. I want to get back here because it's a good time. Guys, read fantasy books. That's all I'm gonna say. Read fantasy books. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's good entertainment. It will pull you in all the strings. It will do the things that it needs to do. The next book I have is a series that I keep hearing about from my high fantasy reading girlies on YouTube, and I'm just like, you know what? I've got the first book. Why haven't I started it? Okay, why haven't I started it? But I don't know how many books are out on this one as well, but I know that book 2 definitely exists. So the series is called Empire of the Wolf by Richard Swan, and this one is called Justice of Kings. And for me, it's giving politics, it's giving battle, it's giving violence, okay? And I'm just like, it's giving Games of Thrones. It's politically wise. Like, I'm just, it looks so interesting. I can't wait. And it's a short one for a fantasy of this kind of caliber, if I could say that, because you would expect that these books would be extremely long, but this one is only 400 pages. 420 pages is not bad for a high fantasy book, so we'll see. It says, no man is above the law. The empire of the wolf simmers with unrest. Rebels, heretics, and powerful patricians all challenge the might of the imperial throne. Only the order of the justices stands in the way of chaos. Sir Conrad von Veld is the most feared justice of all, upholding the law by the way of his sharp mind, arcane powers, and skills as a swordman. At his side stands Helena Sendanka, his talented protege of a provincial aristocrat. They unearth a conspiracy which stretches to the very top of the imperial society. As the stakes become ever more personal, Von Veld and Helena must make a choice. Will they abandon the laws they've sworn to uphold in order to protect the empire? Question mark. We don't know. We'll find out. They probably will. They always do. But I'm looking forward to reading Justice of Kings. And then the next one, also I've been hearing about it a lot on BookTube, from the high fantasy reading girlies, and I'm like, I need to get into this one. This one is the first book in the Kithamar trilogy, another trilogy. We love trilogies. And this one is by Daniel Abraham, and book one is called Age of Ash. And at the back it says, from the co-author of the Hugo Award-winning Expanse series. Oh yay, he did contribute to the Expanse series, right? Comes a monumental epic fantasy trilogy which unfolds within the walls of a single great city over the course of one tumultuous year. I love that. Kithmar is a center of trade and wealth, an ancient city with a long bloody history where countless thousands lives and stories unfold. Alice is simply a petty thief from the slums of Long Hill, but when her brother is murdered, she sets out to discover who killed him and why. The more she unearths about him, the more she learns about herself, and the truth she finds more dangerous than knives. Swept up in an intrigue as deep as the roots of Kithmar, where the secrets of the lowest born can sometimes topple thrones, the story Alice chooses will have the power to change everything. Looking forward to this one. I forgot that Daniel Abraham was the co-author of the Expanse series, because I did mention that there's two authors that came together to write it. I just didn't go looking for their names again, but I heard amazing things about this one, which also reminds me of another series that I heard about that I do want to read, but I haven't seen the books yet to even think about collecting them. However, I know that I can find them on my Kindle, and that is Age of War. That is book one, I believe, by Michael J. Sullivan. Age of War. Oh, it sounded so good. And I think the thing that intrigues me the most about it is that it's narrated by the same narrator who narrates the Red Rising series, Tim J. Reynolds. Is that his name? But Age of War is actually book three. The series is called The Legends of the First Empire. And book one is called Age of Myth. Book two is called Age of Swords. Book three is called Age of War. Book four is called Age of Legend. Book five is called Age of Death. Book six is called Age of Empire. And what is really interesting about the series as a whole is this author apparently wrote this whole series in completion before he took it to a publisher for publishing, which is great to like write a story and finish it and then say, hey, I've got a complete story that I want to, publish with you. I think that is great. So it is a complete series. It's a 6-book series that I'm still looking for. I need to find the physical copies of this, but apparently it is so good and I just can't wait. And hearing Tim J. Reynolds like reading in my head just gives me that nostalgic feeling of Red Rising, which is, guys, my favorite series of all time. You guys know this. It is a series that I'm also rereading next year, but maybe I'll do a series of books that I'm planning to reread next year, because I always have books that I want to reread every year just to see how I feel about the books and just to get myself back in those worlds again, because I really enjoy rereading books. Okay, we're almost done. 3 more series to go through. The next one I've got is The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. This is the second series by Sarah L. Arifi that I have on here, and this one was an arc actually that I got a long time ago. I don't have a finished copy, but it says the epic fantasy debut of the decade. The Akbar is about to begin. Held once every decade, these are the trials that will determine the next rulers of the empire, the next wardens of the guilds of the strength, knowledge, truth, and duty. Scylla was born to win the trials in an empire divided by blood. The cruel legacy of rulers flows in her veins, but rebellion is in her heart. And as the trials draw near, it's time for her to decide, will she rule the empire or destroy it? The Final Empire is the beginning of a revolutionary new epic fantasy trilogy inspired by the Ghanaian folklore and Arabian myths. I love it. She was born to fight, born to sacrifice. She is the final strife. Love it. I can't wait to read this one. And the book 2 is called The Battle Drum. I do not have book 3 yet, but we'll see whenever it comes out. If it's not out yet, I don't know these things anymore. Second last book series is called The Prisoner's Throne. Is this the first one? What? No. The Stolen Heir. The Stolen Heir is the first one, okay? And then we've got The Prisoner's Throne, which is the second book in the series. And this one is by Holly Black. And what is the name of the series? A Novel of the Elf Flame. So that's just what it says. It says it's a novel of the Elf Flame, but it just seems to me that means it forms part of the same world as the other books that she's written. But okay, it is part of the Folk of the Air series. Gosh darn it, I can't read this yet. I need to add the Cool Prince before, because it actually listed as the Cool Prince, the Wicked King, the Queen of Nothing, the Stolen Heir, the Prisoner's Throne. Okay, so let's just say that I'm adding the Cruel Prince to it. I'll probably read the Cruel Prince, the Wicked King, and the Queen of Nothing on my Kindle, because I don't think that is a book series I'm really particularly interested in, or even want to own physical copies of and spend money on. So I will find them on my Libby and then read them through my Kindle. All right, finally, but definitely never going to be the least, we've got A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Clearly, these are not all the books. They are not all the books. I am missing a couple of books, and I want to start the series next year. Every year I told myself that I want to start this, and I think I kind of wait for myself to have completely collected everything, but I won't. And I feel like maybe if I start, then I will definitely be more inclined to collecting the rest of it. But for now, I've got these 4 books. I've got A Feast of Crows, A Game of Thrones, A Storm of Swords, a Part 2, which is Blood and Gold, and then A Dance with Dragons, Part 1, Dreams and Dust. I'm still missing a lot. I also do have House of the Dragon, which I am probably like 40% in. I started listening to that a long time ago just to get a little bit of a background. But I feel like it's so long, it's like 800 pages. It's 800 pages, and I think I got lost and I wasn't understanding anything. But maybe I go and watch the House of the Dragon series, season 1 and season 2, because I haven't even watched season 2 yet. So I need to go and re-watch season 1, get an understanding again of what's going on, and then get to season 2, and then maybe it will make more sense, and then I will listen to the book. But my favorite TV series of all time, okay, Game of Thrones. I love it. I love it so much. I've watched it 3 times now, and it's about time that I actually read the physical books. So I am collecting them, and I'm collecting them specifically in these covers because that's what I like. And yeah, so we will keep collecting them throughout the next year, and hopefully I can have a complete series next year. And whether I finish this or not, it doesn't matter as long as I start it. So these are the books that I currently have. So yes, guys, that is the list of all the series that I tend to start in 2026. I don't necessarily need to finish any of these series. I probably will finish like a few, especially the duologies. Maybe the trilogies I might be able to finish, but the aim is to start so that I can get some of the books on my shelves read, and the ones that I haven't completed collecting, it will prompt me then to finish completing them, because I want to finish series, and I have tons of series. Like I still have a lot of series on my bookshelves that I haven't pulled out, but I needed to kind of be realistic as well about my numbers and what is more realistic for me to read, and I picked on a series that I feel I'm really excited for. I also did not include anything that's already on my cart. I'm recording this in the middle of October, so I haven't included anything in my cart because my feeling or my hope is that I would have read a lot of the books that are on here, and therefore I don't have to include them. But I did go through and check that I don't have a lot of new unread series, but here it's a lot of series I'm in the middle of, which that will be another video that will come in. But yes, this is my list. Let me know down below if you guys are going to and planning on reading any new series new to you. It doesn't have to be books that are coming out in 2026, but new to you authors, books that you want to start in the new year. Please let me know down below. If you also have some recommendations on fantasy and sci-fi series, specifically these are adult, specifically adult fantasy sci-fi books that you think I will really love based on the books that I've shown you today, please don't hesitate to leave them in the description down below. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Click that like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you've made it this far in this video, leave me a dragon emoji. Okay, leave me a dragon emoji for a Game of Thrones, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.